an onslaught on over-the-counter cold medications, and they're very scarce in the stores right now. So the one that works for me the best is Mucinex. I don't know if you use
Really
Mucinex.
love Mucinex. Yep.
Mucinex, pretty good. I mean, I got to say, it kind of busted it up after I finally got a hold of some. But it took me 2 days of searching various stores to find any Mucinex on the shelf. And then when you get there, there's like one packet left, and there's 3 or 4 people descending on it. It looks like an NFL fumble, right? Where you keep digging at the bottom of the pile. No, the Colts got it. No, it looks like the Ravens. Unbelievable.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
I guess in the long run, that Mucinex was like putting a Band-Aid on a brain tumor. As, turned out to be a little bit more severe than that. Yes. But it did seem like it provided some kind of relief. Hey, I wanted to start out in song here. It's a Peel Yourself Off the Mound Monday. Good to be with you here on the Defo Show. A very tan and dapper looking. Wow. I mean, you have your Scarface mode on lately with these new shirts and the whole new look and the naked chest. And it looks like you've been out by the pool there for the last 3 days. I mean, what's the story there, Mike Lubie Livitz?
Stress.
Stress? Really? Oh, it's a red face? Okay, makes some sense.
My nephews were here and they're non-stop, so
all right,
it's recovery mode.
All right, well, you look good. I mean, you know what? It's show business. Better to look good than to feel good. And, hopefully we're looking good for you guys today. Glad you guys tuned in. Big Possum already weighing in with a good morning. Good morning, Big Possum. Good to have you here on the program. I did want to start out with some song today. Okay. I don't know, just hit me right before we were coming on, and then we got distracted with a couple of things. But I just wanted to start the show by saying Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. They take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. This is the line that's a little bit suspect because it could be this way, it could be that way. We're on the ground, we're in the air, we're always in control. That could be we're in the air, we're on the ground. But I know it's we're always in control. You know why, Lubie? Because when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl.
There you go.
It struck me, and Tony's going to join us today, Tony Segreto, the man who sees the brightest of lights in virtually, the darkest of moments, right? You could be having your weakest moment of your life, and Tony would tell you, hey, kid, it's not going to be so bad. Because that's the way he is. He's that kind of guy, and he's going to join us. He's going to be traveling, but by automobile in treacherous snow. I don't know that his timing is really the best that we've seen. It's kind of like the Buffalo Bills timing yesterday, which was much ugliness. All right, but anyway, Tony would probably see some light. But I was thinking, how far away are the Miami Dolphins really from making it to a Super Bowl, where they can win a series of playoff games against tough teams and maybe even have to go on the road to do it? That seems to be a question that is very much open for debate, and I would imagine the debate would be heavily negative there. It's like you got Matt Getz leading the debate, and you're thinking, this is going nowhere. I'm not sure. I mean, look, I don't want to condemn the Dolphin season. It was okay. There were signs of life there, brief signs of life, and then unfortunately, we ended up the season with the very same questions that we have every year for the last 20 years. Do we have a quarterback? Do we have the right coach in place? Do we ever, think that we'll assemble an offensive line of any level of competence ever again? And what happened to the X-Man at the end of the season there? It seemed to me we saw a lot of his back there. He was looking more like Elvis Toast Patterson. This was a guy who was great not that long ago.
You are annoying because I was uplifted after this season, but you're not wrong. The same 3 questions actually do exist.
I mean, just dripping with sarcasm, always. These same 3 questions at the end of every season. Yeah, what are you going to do about an offensive line? I don't know. We don't know. We don't have any answers there. I mean, our best guy was like banged up. He could barely even walk during the rest of the week. And they had to wheel him out to the field, and then they would put him out there, and he would do a decent job at left tackle. But our problem isn't so much left tackle. We need a right tackle. We have a left-handed quarterback. If we have that left-handed quarterback, ugliness. But it did seem like we were light years away, did it not? I mean, if the Giants could get throttled like that by the Philadelphia Eagles, how far behind the Philadelphia Eagles are the Miami Dolphins at this point? I know that's NFC to AFC. Don't get excited. But, when you look at, the Chiefs would have hobbled Mahomes. And then I wouldn't give you a single penny to have a game quarterback by Chad Henne. Are you kidding me? That was the motto when he was here.
That was so funny. I'm like, Henny.
Henne.
Defo
I
wasn't
told you,
lying.
I spotted him a couple of weeks ago. It was like, that guy's in the fucking league. You got to be kidding me. I thought it was his son. I really did. I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, man. That his kid made it to pro football and is playing for Andy Reid. It was interesting, though, the entire weekend. Mayo almost made history, Mike Mayo. But unfortunately for him, the 49ers were able to orchestrate a little bit of a touchdown drive there in the second half. And what was a very much of a shit game for the most part. At least had drama at the end there as Dak Prescott had 11 chances to come back out there and lead his team and couldn't do anything. It was acknowledged on social media. I believe it was some Facebook post about the game that here are the 49ers with a guy making $900,000 a year is Mr. Irrelevant, the last guy taken in the draft. How he even got close to $1 million. Well, what is the minimum in the NFL? I mean, you're the last pick in the seventh round. It's not like you're in a strong bargaining situation, right? As Greg Olson would tell you 1,000 times during the game, it's not like you have leverage. Well, what are we watching? A stock report or a football game?
I don't mind.
Inside lane integrity. What the fuck? I mean, Mike Mayock stamped his name all over broadcasting. It's just horrible. I want to like Greg Olson, but he talks too much. I should say that, but we're in a medium where you have to pretty much keep the ball in the air. A lot of dead air doesn't really add up to much, but
No.
I don't know that every play requires commentary. I'm not sure that it does. A lot of color analysts in football making the money that they're making feel that they're compelled to say something after virtually every play, but it really isn't called for, is it? For the most part, you can see what the hell's going on out there. I mean, every now and then you get a decent illustration. I won't say that doesn't happen. And Olsen is actually pretty good at that, but too much. Come on, Greg. Knock it off. We love him. Yeah, UM guy. I mean, rooting for him to do well. But, at the same time, he's still going to make a lot of money, even when Tom Brady waltzes in there and also says nothing.
Oh, say less.
Nothing.
It's not gonna be better.
We'll have to have Jim Gray interpret like he does on those radio broadcasts for Tom Brady. Interpreting for Tom Brady. Here's Jim Gray. Yeah, he said that was an O-cut. And, he just didn't run it to the spot. And, the timing's off. They're not on the same page. They're going to have to get on the same page. That's what they're going to have to do if they're going to get this thing together. Okay, good. Now we know that. All right. I mean, look, those Miami sympathies for the Buffalo Bills, they quickly dissipated and turned into outright just, straight up, fanatical hatred as everybody was reveling in the fact that the Bills were going down. In fact, Damar Hamlin stood up. He was in like one of the boxes, I think, watching a game. And he stood up at one point, and the people behind him said, "Hey, sit down, you schmeck. We want to watch this bludgeoning."
Like, who's this guy?
No one cared about him anymore. It was beautiful. I mean, it was snowing. It was so Buffalo. The pullback shot from the stadium made you think, I would never want to live in this absolute hell on earth. Ever. You can have all the chicken wings you want. You can have all the bowling alleys you want. You can have Niagara Falls where you can go out there and romantically retake your wedding vows before you think about just sliding into the bottom. You can have Josh Allen at this point. I mean, Josh Allen is a pick machine, this guy. The hell is he doing? I don't know. How is that possible, too? I mean, people always ask this. It's a psychological thing. There's no way to answer the question, so it's a great sports question. And tremendous, it'll be topical material for sports talk all day long. How do you come out flat for a playoff game? It happened with the Giants. They looked awful. Now, Philadelphia may just be that vastly superior when the lights are on for real there, whereas Tony Segreto, in the moment. All right. But, and I don't know that you can use that last regular season meeting between the two teams as a barometer. When the Giants played, none of their starters still made it competitive, and a lot of people thought, wow, that puts them in there with a shot. I might have believed that too. God, were you duped by some of those earlier games in the Super Wildcard weekend, were we not? I mean, it looked like Dallas had it together. Now we did know San Francisco's defense is good. Are they good enough? I mean, I'm looking at these lines. You wouldn't lay 2 in a hook based on what you saw with the Eagles at home against Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers who are life and death to beat a Cowboys team whose offense, I mean, obviously their defense is very good, but they have been vulnerable to giving up points. It's not like you can't score on them. It's just that Dallas was awful yesterday. Absolutely. I mean, a complete reversal of form. You talk about a bounce. I mean, they talk about this in horse racing all the time, where a horse runs a monster race, and then the next time out, he's like, mid back. It's the bounce factor. And a lot of players and a lot of teams bounce off big time performances. You see it in individual sports where, a guy goes out like an Andy Murray and plays a 5-set bloodbath, 2 matches in a row, and then that's it. He bounces off of that. And it isn't so hot the next time out. Starts making a lot of more unforced errors. All of a sudden, the other guy doesn't have as much of a challenge in fending him off. Breaks serve a couple of times, and bingo. Hey, have a seat, Andy. 4 sets. You're out. That's the way that goes. So, that could happen. I mean, that was the fear. Or did you believe? I'm kind of jumping around game to game here, but just on the periphery, I mean, did you believe that Dallas was that good, as good as they were, against a lousy Tampa Bay Buccaneer team who we ascribed a lot more luster to because of the fact that they had Tom Brady on their side, and you got to beat the devil if you're going to win the championship. They look great in that game though, the Dallas Cowboys. They come back 5 days later, I guess, or 6, and it just wasn't the same. That they were horribly out of sync, and then that Maher, I mean, getting the first extra point block, that was classic. Wow.
That's great.
He did nail a couple of field goals later on.
He did, and he never kicked an extra point again. I've never cared about extra points so much. I was like, oh, I have to stay. I have to watch this.
Yeah. What were the odds of that, man?
I don't know, but he missed it.
Could have made a nice in-game wager, and the odds were definitely with him making it. He didn't miss it. It got blocked. I mean, just a thwack. It was like that golf shot I often describe, where you hit the ball, and then the next sound you hear is like not even seconds later, a split second later, thwack, thwack, and then you hear it like ricocheting around in the trees there, and you're out there doing the old Arnie Palmer. Hey, you see that thing? Where is it? In the fairway? I don't think so, Defo. It's a Viking funeral, man. You're buried at sea.
Oh my God!
All right, let's take these one at a time then, real quickly.
All right.
Get our synopsis on this. All right, we'll start with yesterday's first game, Cincinnati and the Buffalo Bills. All the atmosphere, everything in favor of the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have the home field, even though it did look like Cincinnati was going to win that DeMar Hamlin game. You could never say. So, look, that's hearsay, right? Hearsay, Mr. DeForest. Objection is sustained. All right, so I shouldn't throw that out there. But it looked to me like the Bengals were going to handle the Buffalo Bills in the same fashion they did in this game. I mean, they absolutely manhandled the Buffalo Bills.
They dominated the game.
Offered zero resistance in this game.
And I had three offensive linemen. Their offensive line was dominant. Like, they were able to run the ball. Burrow didn't get annihilated like usual. The weather.
They had 1 sack on Burrow the whole game.
He got to just sit back there. They were dominant. The score actually wasn't indicative of the game. The Bills found a way to keep it sort of closer than it really was.
This Jamar Chase, man, is one hell of a weapon. He's unbelievable. And they're throwing the ball. I mean, it was the old line of scrimmage play. When you're in the schoolyard and you're screaming at the guy, just throw it to me at the line of scrimmage. I'll make a move, and I'll see if I can't get, a big gain out of this thing, even though the pass is only like 2 yards. That's what Cincinnati was doing half the game. And then Joe Burrow really is, you would have to say, the epitome of cool. He outcooled Josh Allen by a long way in that game. Josh Allen was a little bit frantic. You would think, Buffalo held all of the cards in that matchup, and they were blown out hopelessly right from the start. And Cincinnati, I think the score wasn't even really indicative of how wide of a separation there was between those two teams. Yeah, 27-10. Could have been much more of a bludgeoning. As it was, getting 5 and a hook, you were in pretty good shape almost all the way through that ballgame. With rare exception was anything in doubt. I guess at 14-7, it sort of looked like there was a possibility there that something would happen. But Cincinnati came right back. They marched the ball down the field at will against the Buffalo Bills, a team that was supposed to be, and they were the preseason favorite, I think, to win the Super Bowl. Were they not? The Buffalo Bills. But all those three teams seem kind of similar to me. I mean, I don't want to discount what the Bills did during the course of the season because they didn't finish up very strongly. And the sign that they were vulnerable came the week before when a bunch of NFL bag ladies showed up as the Miami Dolphins. Miami as the Dolphins.
Like Skylar almost won that game.
I don't want to go off on this again because I've done it a million times, but every time I think of that song, I think we ripped that song off a bunch of hillbillies like the Houston Oilers. Something that sounded like it would be written by Bum Phillips while he was taking a shit. I mean, and that's our song. And then on top of that, I mean, when I moved here, I could not believe that Dolph Van Denny, but was he ever the official mascot?
No, he was not the official mascot.
They wouldn't even give him the distinction of being named the official mascot, even though he was generally acknowledged as the mascot of the Miami Dolphins. What do you think? Miami Dolphins, Dolph Van Denny, right? Guy with a bulbous nose, looked like Carl Malden, right? And then he had the the sequin hat, sombrero, which was brilliant. I mean, imagine you're at a costume shop and the guy says, "Here, try this on." And he says, well, what am I supposed to do with this? He goes, "You're Dolph Van fucking Denny. Just wear
it." Just wear it. What the hell do you care?
Gave him a little towel and wrote, "Go on it." Most uninspiring mascot in the history of mascots, I would have to say, would be Dolph Van Denny. No, Fireman Ed was actually more of an inspiration, was he not?
Yeah. He was put together. He was an actual fireman.
Fireman Ed was like Joel Osteen to his loving congregation, by comparison to Dolph Van Denny to the Dolphin fans, and the Dolphin fans despised Dolph Van Denny. Like, how do you hate your own mascot?
That is Dolphins. That's like so Dolphins.
So Dolphins, right? I don't even like our mascot.
Oh my God.
Anyway, you could probably throw an umbrella over those three teams. Kansas City, Kansas City, I think, compromised in their game against Jacksonville once the Mahomes injury took place. It was clear he wasn't the same guy. He did manage to, do enough good things to keep Kansas City in there. I always think this, too, when watching football, especially NFL variety. I guess probably is just as applicable on the college level. If defensive backs could catch, man, a lot of quarterbacks would have their numerology, severely altered. How many times do you see this where the guy throws a ball right to a defensive back? I mean, this has been going on for years. This is not a new discussion, is it? I mean, for years, you're watching and you're thinking, okay, that's why they're not wide receivers, because they can't catch. But it's atrocious. I mean, it's the same thing like you're watching pros miss free throws in the NBA and miss them badly consistently for years. And you're asking yourself, wait a minute, this is all you do. You're a professional basketball player. Stand at the free throw line and figure out a way to put up a motherfucking shot. There's got to be a way to get the ball to go in consistently. It can't be that hard. It's almost impossible, right? Little kids get up there and hoist them. I don't know. I mean, I like shooting free throws for, as soon as I knew I could reach the basket without having to jump. That was it, man. I was dug in at the free throw line like Bill Sharman. Are you kidding me? Hand me the ball here. These are free points in the box score every single time, right?
Yeah.
DeForest, 9 for 10 from the stripe. I always liked that, right? And I didn't get to go to the line much because chuckers rarely went to the line. But every now and then, to keep everybody honest, I was talking about this with Andy the other day. Once in a blue moon, you had to drive to the basket. The up fake and then whoosh, right in there, hoist up a left-handed layup and pray that it goes in. Not exactly Kyrie Irving at that particular shot. All right, so since he looked very impressive and impressive enough to make you think they could beat the Kansas City Chiefs, did they not, Mike Lubie Lubitz? That game looms as somewhat of a toss-up. The odds makers see it that way. Chiefs open up a minuscule 1.5-point favorite. And if I was tempted, by the way, too, I mean, that was one ugly backdoor cover. The professor was screaming. He must have had the Chiefs.
That was annoying. That stupid field goal. That was a jerk off move.
He attributed it to the old Mike Tice thing, which I do think I recall this,
Yes.
where Tice went for a quick field goal, thinking now the percentages of recovering an onside kick, I believe all season long, Libby, of the onside kicks that have been attempted. Now, I'm not sure the number is all that large, but it's probably like 30 or 40. Is it something like that? Could it be that high? Only 3 were recovered all year.
Well, the thing is, okay, in the NFL, it never was a gimme, but you used to have a shot. And then and I don't know why they did this, because I liked that you used to have a shot. They made it fucking impossible. Like where you can stand, your line up, the way
they don't want guys getting killed, man, on the onside.
The way you can do it is so different now that you have no shot.
Yeah.
Like no shot. Like I actually agree with that strategy because to me, look, it happened to the Bills. The Bills settled for the fucking field goal. They're
Yeah.
still down 2 scores with 7
Yeah.
minutes. Once you miss the field goal, the game's over now. Like so, I understand Ken's frustration because I was too. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So
I was laying the points with KC in that game.
yeah, like I was all over Casey. So
Yeah.
I was annoyed, but I was like, so they're supposed to get no points here? Like it's not better to get no points. The problem is Ken's not wrong. In this day and age, you have almost no shot at getting the onside.
But
So
but they would have needed to get an onside kick whether they went for the touchdown or not.
Either way, exactly.
So the truth of the matter was, if they were going to have the oddball chance of recovering an onside kick, they still needed this field goal. So I don't know. I mean, even though it pained me to lose in that fashion, I don't know that I was livid about the strategy, which set the professor off. I mean, it ignited a spark in the professor that I mean, it could be felt all the way to Dubai, man. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he hasn't been on NFL, so I'm like, oh, he must have been bored and had some action on that game.
Yeah. And it's pretty much what we thought, except I believe Kansas City would have won by a wider margin had Mahomes not been hurt, because it really did compromise what he was able to do. And you could see he was clearly, I mean, he's limping up to the huddle, I mean, to the line of scrimmage. And, a couple of his throws were really, really, I mean, out of whack because of the fact that he couldn't dig in there and couldn't run. So that threat was taken away. And, what that does for him next week, I mean, high ankle sprain, usually not necessarily a great thing, right?
No, you're out. And within high
and his ankle did get crushed there by that guy. I mean, he was caught underneath there. It was so ugly. I mean, I'm surprised, that it isn't broken is, here I go, I'm sounding like Mayo. Well, he should be in a cast. How do hockey players do it, man?
I don't know.
But that you look at all the different ways that you can be injured in an NFL game. I mean, and there's one of them. Two guys are tackling a guy around the ankles, and one guy just flat out lands and bends this thing. I mean, in an atrocious fashion. And from that point on, the guy was shelling himself. How Chad Henne comes in and orchestrates a 98-yard drive without throwing a ball over 3 yards is incredible.
He still Henne.
I thought I saw Adam Gase on the sidelines.
I don't think
was Gase around when Henne was here. I don't know.
That was Sperano. That was 100%. Parcells and Sperano.
Yeah. It was an unfortunate thing, but I mean, you have to give a guy like that credit, right? I mean, holy Dan Orlovsky. Who knew that Orlovsky was in the league for 12 years? Nobody, right? When they put that up there, it looks like it's George Santos' resume. Dan Orlovsky played 12 seasons in the National Football League. It's like, this skinny string bean was in the NFL for 12 years. How come I never heard of him?
Because he played behind Peyton Manning, so he never played.
How great is that, right? You're Peyton Manning's water boy, man. And make sure you mix the Gatorade right. That was Carson Palmer was always telling a backup quarterback to mix up the Gatorade to the exact prescription that he wanted. All right, so we have Kansas City, Jacksonville game. Jacksonville, gutty effort. I mean, got to give it to them. They covered the point spread, so a lot of people were happy about that. Chiefs were awful against the spread all year long, although Mark Lawrence pointed out on the show, and he didn't pick them, Kansas City, because he can't bring himself to pick a favorite. But I think he was intimating that if he was going to make a wager and he was ever inclined to bet a favorite, this might not be the one definitively so, but, he would be inclined to go ahead and lay the points with Kansas City because it did look like a game that should have been a 10-point line. It started out like 8 and a hook, and that's where I would have had it. Francesco, my buddy who's bets I book, naturally had it at 9 because he's getting his lines out of the Jewish Journal. And, and I could live with 9 because I thought they were going to win by 10, and by all rights, they should have.
They should have.
Yeah.
Stupid ass.
And I think they could have extended that lead a little bit had Mahomes been more on his game. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Cincinnati, a coming team, right? Came on through the end of the season. They were dead in the water early in the year. Remember, they started out 0-2. Everybody's like, what's wrong with these guys? And then, I mean, all of the rhetoric surrounding the game was, wow, with 3 offensive linemen out, how can they possibly hang in there against the vaunted Buffalo Bills? And not only did they hang in there, but they absolutely whipped the Buffalo Bills in that game. So good matchup there for the conference championship AFC. And Cincinnati has beaten Mahomes 3 times.
Yeah, in a row, right? 3 in a row. It's a rematch of last year's AFC title game. And I don't know. The Bengals seem like they're coming on, and the Chiefs have a problem. Like
Chiefs have been at about the same level, it seems like, kind of hovering there. They're a real good team. They have obviously, excellent personnel. What is that guy that wears he has got the Is it? He's got a weird last name, and he's got the black, like thing sticking out of his pants there. And no, not that. I mean, that sounded horrible. No, he's got like a black piece of tape or something. It's not like a black thing sticking out of his
I'm the
pants.
Chiefs.
You could, I mean, if that was terrestrial radio, we might have lost our job over that statement, right? I mean, meaning nothing by it. Huh? How about this woke society or political correctness? He has a weird last name like Ayuk or something like that. What is
The
that guy?
Niners is Ayuk. I don't know what.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, Niners. Yeah,
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk is the
yeah.
Niners.
What is that? What is that thing he's got?
I don't know.
Like, is he playing flag football or something? Have you seen that? There's always this big, like, black strip sort of tailing the guy. And you're thinking that would be a dumb thing because any guy could grab onto this thing. Any of the guy's pants are going to come off. Thus, another big black thing. I mean, no, there's no way out of this. All right, so let's move on. Philadelphia, I don't know. I think they look great.
Yeah,
Was it that the Giants were a fraud? Come on, Lubie. We were just anointing the Giants as a really good team. Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year. Daniel Jones is a franchise quarterback. Saquon Barkley, comeback player of the century.
I question Jones. Jones looked like the guy I know him to be. Like, Jones looked like the guy that I don't think the Giants should be running to make their franchise quarterback. Like, I think that's what that game was what Daniel Jones is. I think he's a solid quarterback. I kept having Ryan Tannehill flashbacks watching Daniel Jones in that game. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, the guy that looks good for shit. And when everything falls apart around him, he doesn't know what to do. There's Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Like, he likes to run. He's an athlete. He's an quarterback.
He did look great against Minnesota. Maybe Minnesota was a big fraud this year.
We've seen Tannehill look great against shit too. Like, that's what I think Daniel Jones is a guy that he's their starter. But if you run to go give him a big extension, you're stupid.
All right.
Very much like Sanchez. Sanchez helped the Jets win, but he was not your future quarterback.
No, you could tell that Sanchez was not well-rounded enough at the quarterback position to be a guy that you're going to say, wow, here's the next 10 years. We're good at that position.
I think the way Len Robbins, it's funny, Len Robbins looked wrong when they got in because we had him on like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, yeah, Daniel Jones isn't the guy. And then they won a playoff games, and everyone loved Daniel Jones. So I didn't want to give Len Robbins credit until now because he looked like Len said, yeah, he's not the guy. Like, you can see, like, he's a good kid.
Inconsistent.
He's a good quarterback. Exactly. Yeah. But when
more consistently than he is like great, like he was against Minnesota. Problem with
Daniel. And that's what this game was. Like, and I don't know what Jalen Hurts is either. It's not like Jalen Hurts was dominant. The Eagles are just really well put together. Like, they don't have weaknesses. Their line is freaking insane. Their defensive line has become strong. They have the right complement of receivers. They have a good running game. Like the Sirianni kid has turned into a legit coach. Like, the Eagle, I don't know. I look, the Niners, I was all in on the Niners, and I watched that game, and I'm like, fuck.
They didn't look great in this ballgame.
Purdy is a 7th round. Like, Purdy, that's what I'm like, fuck. I didn't think they could make him look like that because of that offensive line, but they can. Like, he is a 7th round rookie.
They bottled up McCaffrey for most of the game, too. I mean, give Dallas's defense credit. They kept him in the ballgame. They really did.
The Eagles' defense is better all around. So it's like, oh, shit.
Well, and you're going on the road now. I mean, they've been playing at home games, the 49ers.
Very different weather in Philadelphia.
Purdy, Purdy is not as inclined to make the bozo play as somebody of his little experience or limited experience would normally be, especially at this stage of the season. But it isn't as if he's immune from making that bozo play. He did get away with a couple. If the Cowboys, like I said, if their secondary guys could catch, he put a couple right in the hands of a couple of Cowboys secondary players, and they dropped them just flat out. So that outcome could have changed dramatically. And Dak Prescott was horrible in the game. So, I mean, therein lies the problem. They end up with 12 stinking points. And that's not going to do it. But Philadelphia looked overwhelmingly impressive to me. And the parts of the ball game I was watching, I mean, they just marched the ball down the field with impunity against the Giants defense that was real good the week before in spots. And, they wiped the floor, essentially, with the New York Giants, one of their divisional rivals, who they've already met now for the 3rd time this season. So familiarity breeding contempt and all of that stuff, all of the cliches apply. But, the fact that they know each other so well and they can mirror every move and they know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, it was a joke, blowout city right from the start. So they were impressive. I haven't seen enough of Philadelphia, even with that playoff game. That was the one I watched for the least amount of time. And, even with that, I would think laying 2.5 at home against the San Francisco 49ers would not be an overwhelming number to overcome. What do you think, Lubie? You take a shot with the Niners there because you have to stick with your.
I'm on. Yeah, I've. That's the problem is I've never liked the Niners, but I'm finding myself rooting them on because I've been fervently behind. They're not only they're going to win the NFC, they're going to win it all. So I'm sort of stuck now. That game scared me. I'm like, oh shit. Like
they didn't look like a team that was going to, that was primed to win it all.
Like I thought they'd pull away
two more highly competitive ball games.
I thought they'd pull away in the second half, and they didn't pull away. Like they won, they do.
They had chances, though. I mean, they could have done a few things, and that score might have been altered a little bit. Much more in their favor. So, all right, good weekend overall of professional football, and the season now boils down to the two conference championship games next week. I believe they're both on Sunday, right? They do that 3 and 6:30 thing again.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I would prefer do you want to invest 2 days in watching professional football? It's a lot easier when one game just follows the other and you don't have to watch the pregame show babble, right?
I hate that.
So annoying, isn't it?
My father-in-law, yes, because I was helping him do some work at the house. So he put it on. We had like some lunch and we watched an hour of the pregame. I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I've ever done this.
There's nothing being said of any interest in these pregame shows. Not a single word that's worth retaining. Even with our good friend Jimmy Johnson, right? Who we love madly, but there's nothing to say. I don't know. I mean, it's the most overanalyzed sport in the world. I mean, we're doing it, but at the same time, I mean, if you're not going to provide me with some kind of real insight into what the hell's going to go on out there, then why go on the show at all? Some of these personality features are great. You get to know a guy, some offensive lineman that's taking care of mentally challenged kids. I love those stories. I really do. It's Frank DeFord to an exponent of like 100. It's Tom Rinaldi, right? Harmonica music in the background. They're playing, My Old Kentucky Home. But
Fox added Gronk. Mike,
Gronk, yeah, Gronk's in there now. Gronk's on everything.
What was Gronk going to say?
Gronk's telling you to bet the games. He's telling you to lie about being in the Army as if he was George Santos. He's telling you to eat at Subway. He's telling you to wear Skechers or whatever those shoes are that he's hawking.
Skechers, right?
Holy Pete Rose!
Not this much.
What the fuck is this guy not hawking, man? Not that we wouldn't, be very much inclined to do the same thing if the offers came our way. But I mean, there's only so much you can take, right? Gronk, a very pleasant football personality overall. Was always the guy. Yeah, it was like watching the Patriots in Animal House. When Gronk, was operating. But he always seemed very outgoing and friendly to everybody, and people like that. But, geez, do we need him there on the another body on the pregame show? How many guys can comment and say nothing, Lubie? It's impossible to keep track of.
Well, and that's the thing. And so we moved around, and I was like, because you make fun of Cowher, and I don't watch enough of it to make fun of Cowher, and then I'm like, oh, that's why they got rid of Marino.
Cowher started singing the national anthem at one point. About what an all-American story the Buffalo Bills were. And he was nearly brought to tears. And I'm like, wow, I mean, this is really reaching, man. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't have a curled up flag unfurling in the background. That's the way it is. All right. So we have the Eagles favored by 2.5 at home over the San Francisco 49ers. And the Chiefs, 1.5 point, very tepid, 1.5 point favorites over the red hot Cincinnati Bengals, who seem to be the team in control. A couple of other things. Tony's going to join us today. He had to move his schedule around a little bit to try and dodge all of this snowfall in the Northeast, which I don't know if it's going to be easy. That was kind of cool. I really dig the conditions. Adverse conditions are my favorite conditions in virtually every sport. I love adverse conditions, especially in football. So, and you would think, oh, no, you want to see this track meet or whatever, and all of these great athletes. I love it in the mud. I love it in the snow. I love it in torrential rain. I mean, every once in a while, I guess. Not every game, but when you see something like that, it's amazing that it was so little of an impediment. And by the way, wasn't that a catch by Jamar Chase when they ruled no touchdown and they had to settle for the field goal from
I
like
don't know. I saw a touchdown and then I left. I came back and they had a field goal, and then I saw people like Ken said something and some other people saying something that I get. Like if that's not a catch, like I don't know how you explain that to someone that a catch is not a catch. So
well, I mean, he caught the ball while he had 2 feet in. Okay, that's when he made an initial contact with the ball. Now, while he's going to the ground, I mean, my understanding of the rule was, and they got like Gene Steratore and all of these other schminks who can't explain the rules, even though they were the head of like the NFL Rules Committee, or head of officiating. Anyway, and he juggled the ball after he was starting to go down. So you're thinking, all right, he caught the ball while he was in bounds, and now he has to control it going to the ground, right? That's the rule.
yeah.
And it never hit the ground. He bobbled it, but he caught it. So did he establish the catch while he was in bounds? I think yes. And I would have ruled out a touchdown, and that was a big differential in that game, especially for those that were trying to do all of the mathematical permutations needed to figure out if that 5.5 that I was getting was going to stand up, no matter what the Buffalo Bills did. These assholes. How about the togetherness of that team, too? Stephon Diggs, who's been marvelous for the Buffalo Bills, 2 seasons with the Bills, he's been brilliant. And some would consider, and this is saying a lot, considering you had Andre Reed, James Lofton, a lot of wide receivers there of distinction with the Buffalo Bills. That he may be the best wide receiver the Buffalo Bills have ever had, Stephon Diggs. Is that possible, or is that just the here and now?
I don't know what you do with an Andre Reed, I guess. I mean, that's era.
They had plenty of good wide receivers.
Oh, said it moved when it hit the ground. Oh God, I don't
uh,
know.
it was juggled, but I think he kind of had control of the ball while he was in the end zone, and then going to the ground.
Yeah, I'm watching it.
I'm thinking that's a catch. No, that was a weird one.
Where if it hits once you get to the ground, if it moves, and then if you're now recovered on the ground, you're already out of bounds.
Yeah,
I don't know.
NFL officiating, man. I mean, there's going to be a revolt in this country, and it's not going to be the MAGA Republicans storming the Capitol building again. I think they might have been dissuaded from doing that in the future. There with like half of these guys going to jail for like 8 years, but it's going to be between bettors and NFL officials. I believe that's where the revolt is going to come. That's where the civil war is going to come in America. What do you think, Louis? So I mean, that's kind of a deep, but I believe valid theory. That if civil war ever erupts in America again, it won't be over race, it won't be over religion, it won't be over money, it won't be over issues, Republican versus Democrat, whatever. It'll be over bettors versus the NFL officiating crews, demanding money back, and that there's proof being shown that every game is somewhat on the level. At least, come on, you got to give me a break. All right, a couple of other things real quick there, and then. We'll tell you about what's happening in Hialeah Park this week with the handicapping contest. And Tony Segreto is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour. And that'll be brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants and the great people at Catholic Health Services. Heat winners, New Orleans has nobody, right? I mean, without Ingram and Zion, really no chance. And it's kind of weird that this new thing in the NBA where you play the same team in the same arena, like 2 out of 3 nights. So you beat the shit out of them one night, and then you come right back and ease up on them, but you beat them again. So the Heat are now 26-22 after picking on a depleted New Orleans Pelicans team, which the Pelicans were having a very good season until everything started to fall apart. Temple beats the number 1 team in the country. Temple, holy John Chaney, my God, how is that possible? Temple, one of the Big 5 schools there in Philadelphia. It was always good to see a basketball culture still exist on the collegiate level. You definitely can sense that when you're in Philadelphia. And if you're attending a college basketball game, whether it's Villanova or Temple or any of the other schools there, they got LaSalle. What are the other parts of the Big 5 there? Philadelphia Big 5. Come on, Libby. Should be able to come up with a couple more.
St. Joe's?
St. Joe's could be one. Yeah.
No, they are. St. Joe's is like a Philly.
Okay. All right, so we're missing one. Lafayette.
Isn't it what did you say? Villanova, St. Joe's, Temple. What was the other one you said?
I don't know. I knew Villanova and Temple. That was it.
And Temple.
All right, look them up. A Big 5. Xavier? I mean, no.
That's Ohio.
That's Ohio, yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah, we're just throwing names out there. UCLA, are they one of the big five? But that's one good thing about college basketball. One of many good things about college basketball. But one of the good things is you can lose a couple of games and still be a contender. So
Yeah.
you don't have to fear playing anybody.
LaSalle. So it's Temple,
LaSalle.
LaSalle, Villanova, St. Joe's, and the Penn Quakers. Were the Penn Quakers?
Oh, Penn. Yeah, Penn.
Okay, and the Penn Quakers.
Whoever talks about Penn basketball.
Good in basketball years ago? I guess Ivy League used to be good in basketball.
Back in the day, yeah, maybe so.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, that was an interesting development as well. And then I've been following a little Australian Open. This kid from the University of Florida making a move, huh? He made it to the quarterfinals. Ben Shelton is the kid's name. Ben Shelton, a left-hander, and he had a big match yesterday. At least I don't know. It might have been 2 days ago. It was Australia, but against another American named J.J. Wolf, and they battled it out for 5 sets. And Ben Shelton moved in to the quarterfinals now at the Australian Open, as did a guy named Tommy Paul, another American player. So the Americans considered to be dead in the water forever, all of a sudden, making a reasonable showing with guys that Tommy Paul's been around for a while, but certainly this Ben Shelton is an exciting young American player. Got a big serve. He's left-handed, and a lot of moxie. Charismatic out there in the court. Does get a little carried away, cheering after every point. He stopped short, just short of yelling, "Hey, fuck you!" Maybe that's going to come back to bite him when he gets up there against the better players. The Joker, though, appears primed to zoom right in there, and he makes the quarterfinals without even breaking a sweat. The Joker, Novak Djokovic, coming back to the Australian Open after being deported last year from Australia. Imagine a peaceful country like Australia, very welcoming. And they're telling him to get the fuck out of here, man. Look, Joker, we don't want your kind around here, you disease-spreading mofo. My man Stefanos Tsitsipas, the Greek god, seems to fall apart. Tony can appreciate this in the big moments.
Big moment.
Even though he's given some monster efforts sometimes and losing efforts. So it isn't like he always just, completely unraveled. I don't want to say that. Showing signs that maybe he can keep it together. And he beats Yannick Sinner, who, oddly, will you ever guess that Yannick Sinner is an Italian player? Yannick Sinner. Yannick Sinner, pale as a Norwegian winter, and skinny as a rail, but tough as nails. And that one went 5. So that was kind of interesting. And still wide open there, although the Joker holds all the cards right now in the Australian Open. And on the women's side, what are we doing? Do we have anything working?
I don't know.
My girl Sabalenka, she might be primed for a breakthrough. I think that's possible.
Golf's done.
Goff got knocked out, by this girl. And I can't figure it because you rarely see you do see some women tennis players that look like they're out of shape. But this Helena Ostapenko, she was like a real cutesy, like 16-year-old. She won a Grand Slam a couple of years ago, very young age. And I don't know if it's disease related or anything. I mean, they say she has diabetes, but she's ballooned up. And you would never in a million years look at this girl if she was on the streets in street clothes and say, man, must be a professional tennis player, huh? And sure enough, she beat Coco Gauff. She's a good player when she's on her game. Very strange, temperament also out there on the court. All right, we're coming back with more. Hialeah Park, the handicapping contest is on. It's this Sunday. Pegasus has been announced, and that's going to be Saturday at Gulfstream. Then on Sunday, you can be in the NHC, take a chance to win a seat in the NHC. That's the National Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas. All you have to do is get involved there at hialeahpark.com for the entry fee. All of you horse-playing degenerates will love it. Your handicapping prowess could win you a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. Excuse me here for a second, Lubie.
I would love to see Paulie Man get back into it. Paulie Man, for all of his faults, is really good at handicapping. He actually knows his stuff.
Great handicapper and a good tournament player because he was in tournaments before they were very popular. So, and there's a strategy to it. You have to kind of bide your time and make the right move here and there. But anyway, yeah, he would have been great. Gurgles, I don't think is going in. Mike Mayo, I think, has an entry in there.
Nice. Mayo's not bad.
He could be a sleeper, no question. He could be a sleeper.
Yeah, pretty solid.
In his weirdness, although San Francisco covering that point spread, knocked him out of his 0-10.
I know. He was so excited. I was like, Jesus, man.
Kid was 0-9. I mean,
I was like, how do you? Like, who picks the Giants? I'm like, what are you being serious with that pick? But I think he really look. Andy thought the Giants had a chance, so I'm like, I guess people were.
A lot of people did. Yeah, I mean, people were looking at the Giants' performance against Minnesota and got duped.
Yeah,
Much like they were looking at Dallas's performance against Tampa Bay and got duped.
Yep.
Duped.
Yep.
Dupe over. And then that was a hideous backdoor cover there. Come on. I mean, what are we talking about? You know, kick a 48-yard field goal with 30 seconds to go in a ball game.
You're not going to win. It's just douchey.
Try to drive it into the end zone. See if you can't get a fluke play to get the ball back. Crazy shit, right?
It was really annoying. That's what's good about Hiley. I never feel like annoyed. I leave there feeling good.
Yeah. You're not going to take that kind of beat at Hialeah because they have the machines calibrated, so you're in a good position to win. That's what the Vegas style games are all about. All right, don't forget about the handicapping contest. If you're a horse player, you're handicapping 2 tracks, and I believe it's based on win and place betting only. So you don't have to worry about some guy knocking you out with a bizarre exotic in the last race. So trying to be a true test of handicap and prowess. Winner goes to Las Vegas with passage for 2 there and accommodations for 2, airfare and hotel, and then an entry into the NHC, which, that used to be worth $10,000. So you not only win the prize fund and have the distinction of winning the championship there, but get to keep the money that was in your bankroll. And only $500 gets you into the whole thing. $300 you're going to be betting while you're at the track, and $200 going to the prize fund and the minor expense that is incurred in putting this on. Although Hialeah absorbs a lot of it because they put out a hell of a spread, considering that you're getting all of this and all of this entertainment, and all you're doing is putting up a nickel there and hoping for the best. I mean, $700,000-$800,000 possibly, I believe, is the top prize. I think it was $800,000 last year in the NHC. So imagine that, Lubie. Life-changing score just for picking some horses. You happen to get hot one weekend, boom, you're off to the races for life. All right, we're coming back with more. Tony Segreto going to join us here. We'll do a little old school on a Monday. Appeal yourself off the mat Monday. Another entertaining weekend of NFL football, I thought, overall. It was good to have all of those games on, although the Giants game had me tuning elsewhere. The Giants-Philly game was a real stinkeroo, I thought. KC Jacksonville, kind of interesting all the way through with the drama of Mahomes. San Francisco Dallas was in doubt, even up to the final minute or two. And then Cincinnati and Buffalo never raised a gallop. It was just unbelievable to see that. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
You notice how the Miami people don't turn on the Buffalo Bills? Like all of a sudden, yeah, I'm glad those assholes lost. Memes of Hamlin being trampled by the crowd on his way out of the stadium. They turned on him, man. They hate the Buffalo Bills at heart, right? And that was all phony. All of that love. Oh, hey, we got to rally around number 3. It's all bullshit, people. You people in South Florida are full of crap. You really are. And I'm proud of you. Let the truth be told, man. Who wants the Buffalo Bills to win anything? Nothing. All of those ugly beatings they put on the Miami Dolphins over the years, huh? Right? You're going to your grave singing, Miami has the Dolphins. Why won't that song leave your head? Ask yourself that. Here's a philosophical question. They take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. I didn't see that. Did you?
No,
Skylar Thompson in a ball game? It didn't look like the song was appropriate at all. Ripped off, no less. Just blatantly ripped off. I mean, like Milli Vanilli type style, right? Not even a lip sync. Just took the script right there from the Houston Oilers and said, hey, I like that song. You mind if we steal it? No problem. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
The Oilers at least had the good sense to distance themselves.
Yeah, they didn't like the song. It wasn't that we stole it. They thought it was stupid. And
there you go, Joe Robbie. Why don't you take our song here? And by the way, here's a sequin sombrero from San Antonio. Put it on some drunk's head. There's your mascot. It's 7:51.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by asleep to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks.
What could that have been about except
Gambling.
to hedge or not to hedge?
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
My heart's bleeding a little bit for our good friend Jim Larinaga, the head coach of the University of Miami basketball team. They started a big 3-game road trip around the ACC. They're having a marvelous season. They take on the Duke Blue Devils in a noon nationally televised game on Saturday, and they lose by 2 points.
Yeah.
In a seesaw affair that was also triggered. I mean, Duke got 3 freebies when a guy banked in a desperation shot, I believe was out at the end of the first half, a buzzer beater. Might have been a shot clock buzzer beater, but whatever. It was 3 free points for Duke, who ultimately won the ball game by 2. And wow, I mean, it was just like, I see visions of Grayson Allen out there whenever I see Duke. They're just a player that wants, that induces vomiting when you see him. No, he's not as intolerable, even though he's had a couple of incidents in the NBA. Now that he's with the Milwaukee Bucks, he's kind of, I think he starts for the Bucks, Grayson Allen. And it's a good fit because he can pop the three-pointer and, he does a few other things. He's not as bad at the overall game as we thought that he was when he was just a cheating scumbag while he was under the guidance of the great and very much righteous about the rules and the game of basketball and what it means and the spirit. Grayson Allen. He's not bad.
Starts.
Yeah.
What? Grayson Allen starts? Are you kidding me?
He starts. Yeah. He was, functional off the bench for the Bucks previously, and now he's in the starting lineup and doesn't do a bad job. I would have to. I don't know what he's averaging. I would imagine it's somewhere around 9-10 points a game, something like that. And he'll knock down the wide open 3 when they put 5 guys on the Greek Freak, Antetokounmpo. So as the Freak is driving to the basket there, if he ever does kick it out, he's got Grayson Allen standing there all alone, and or Chris Middleton, and that's why the Bucks are going to be out or near the top of the NBA for as long as they have any semblance of this configuration together. So that was kind of interesting, but nonetheless, yeah, I mean a tough loss for the University of Miami, and you hate seeing them lose to Duke like that, huh? I mean it's disgusting. These people. Did Cameron Crazy still camp out, or did that leave when Krzyzewski left?
No, I think
they're still just as nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
I give them credit for that, right? I mean, that was a fan craze that you would have to look at and go, man, those guys. It's like the shirtless guys in Buffalo and Cleveland, and you're thinking, no, those guys are just flat out stupid.
I mean, that's stupid. I'm like, you're not scaring me. You just look like a lunatic.
Would you camp out overnight to go to a college basketball game, no matter how much of a fanatic you were for the team?
No.
Camp out. Now you're in college. Let's face it. So you're inclined to do crazy shit. No,
I was never a camper outer. Like we had some big games.
Jews don't camp out a lot, do we?
I was never I was like, there's not like you see people do that for shoes or iPhones or tickets to concert. Like
Black Friday.
I either can get it easily or I'm not getting it. Like, I'm not fighting. Like,
No.
is that serious? I
I
don't know.
don't even want to be behind two guys in the 10 items or less line. I start counting the items the guy has in front of me. Hey, brother, that's like 12, man. No, 3 jellies is 3 items. Isn't that amazing? Guy will have like 50 soups and consider that one item. It's like, no, you have 50 of them, you asshole. Publix is like, getting robbed at the ATM machine, though, isn't it? I mean, it's unbelievable. And by the way, whenever they're doing these gambling pieces, how come there's never an ATM machine in the background? Have you noticed that? Have you ever seen an ATM machine in any FanDuel or DraftKings commercial or MGM or Caesars? Are the Mannings ever going to the ATM machine to replenish their bankroll?
Never.
While they're betting on virtually everything in game. And why isn't Pete Rose a spokesman for any of these places?
Well, he should be.
He should be, right?
He really
should be cutting a ribbon on every show, man. How does he not have his own show on the network? Well, you know what? When I brought in Barbone that time, we were winning 11-3. So I figured if he gave up 3 runs, that would put us right there when it came to the over/under, which was 18 for the ball game. It's like, really? 18 was the over/under? They knew what you were doing all along, Pete, right? How did word not circulate in the betting underground, which was very much in existence at that time, that Pete was betting on certain sides in games, and people would capitalize on it? Although I guess he was in the hole was the problem, right? Because then he had to make some like outrageous bet to try to get even, and all of a sudden everybody was onto it. That Pete Rose was doing it. But how is he not? Why are the Mannings telling you to go bet on every ball game, and Pete Rose is not? It's been rendered silent.
Well, that's what's funny about it is they are embracing gambling, but the people they're putting out there to do it show they're not. Like, it's all the people that never get, like Jamie Foxx isn't, Kevin Hart. Like, these are all the people that work these ridiculous schedules.
I could see Jamie Foxx betting on games.
I'm not saying these guys haven't bet in their life, but they're not the degenerate. Like, there are sports, there are athletes, formerly of the world, the Paul Hornings, and that's what you should get is the guys that for sure.
Paul Horning was doing was like completely innocent compared to what they're encouraging you to do today, I believe. I really do. I mean, Paul Horning was a horse player too, so I mean, and he liked action, but I don't know that he was like a sick degenerate, like where he was betting like.
Like Kenny Mayne, like all these people we know that they liked it. Like
I don't think he was Art Schlichter. Let's put it that way.
I'm just saying, like these people who are actually into it, those are who you have ever.
Why isn't Schlichter doing something? Hi, Art Schlichter here for FanDuel. I'll tell you what, I was stuck 28,000 last week and about to go back and do another term in prison. But then I watched Anita Marks on ESPN, and she told me to bet everything I had on the Bills. Unbelievable. What does the world come to, man? I mean, it is amazing. And the look that you used to get when you were in this business and you mentioned gambling on a show, if you weren't Hank Goldberg, what was incredible, right? And they despised it in Hank also, trust me. Behind his back, all of these program directors and GMs were like, is this guy going to talk about gambling all day again?
It's so funny, the turn that's happened.
No, they can't wait to get on the good side of these people. It's amazing. I don't know if that's going to change. All right, we're going to come back in just a moment here with the great one himself, Mr. Tony Segreto. Can we pop Tony on real quickly here?
Of course.
Before we get going, look how handsome he looks. How are you, Tony? You all right?
I'm doing great. Absolutely.
You look good. You look
fantastic.
a little different. Were you outside chopping wood or something?
No, I last night because of a snowstorm here. It actually just lightened up a little bit, so I decided to get my equipment and bring it down to the house rather than trying to trek to my studio this morning. Since it's we already probably got about a foot and a half, maybe in the front of that.
Are you going to be able to get out of there?
Well, that's why I'm doing the show today, because I was planning. So I'm going to try this and pull out tomorrow. Make
good
my
luck,
way
Tony,
south. Yeah.
Be careful, man. Aren't there like winding mountain roads with no railing? In Vermont to get out of the state?
Yeah.
Where you're like on the cliff there, like Pacific Coast Highway, the first time you drive it and you realize it's at night and it's raining.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, you feel like you're in like a Clint Eastwood movie, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Just winding around the bend there. All right. We wish you all the best, Tone. All right. We'll get to talk to you for an hour. And it's good to see you. It does look like you got a little red in the face there from being outside for
Yeah,
what was it, like 5
shoveling
minutes?
snow.
Yeah, well, I didn't. You know what I didn't do is I didn't bring my lights, the natural light with all the pine and I have in the house. So that's
okay. Well, you look good. You look great. All right, we're going to get into it. Old School with Tony Segreto. That's coming up here in just a minute. As Tony is brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants and Catholic Health Services. Back with Tony and Old School in a moment. Now that
The time.
8:02. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
All right, welcome back to the show. All right, I got to get Tony's opinion on this because it is Old School with Tony Segreto. And what's your real thought about that Dolphins theme song? I mean, the whole history of it. Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever
I love
seen.
the song. So
you do like it? Okay.
Are we still arguing? I mean, you've got to put it in perspective of when it came out. Okay, so if in today's world, it's probably a dumb song, but back then it was the song.
It was swinging, yeah.
Even though the Houston Oilers claimed that, then that whole controversy.
It sounded exactly like their song, Tony.
Exactly.
Would you agree? I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure you
conducted a couple
of
tests. They didn't
They
start
won.
it. They did it after we started the one that the Dolphins did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Dolphins started it first back in '68. So
I'm thinking of all the great musicians though that are here. Like I mean, in all genres of music, including the Estefans. I mean, you got the great flautist.
Come on,
Torres.
man. I mean, do you listen to the songs from the '50s? Come on, in the '40s. Come on, man. We're like, what? Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz lives down here. I mean, he couldn't come up with something. Lenny Kravitz.
He wasn't down here then.
No, but I mean a new song. I mean, there's a time to institute a new song.
Why don't you bitch about pasta? What is there anything else you can find wrong?
No, that's great. It's always going to be great.
What else is? Yeah. Oh, my
I'm
gosh.
just curious.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Something's great, and he. Oh my gosh. Oh,
I didn't know if you liked the song, Tony. I just was questioning.
I don't. I. It's not one of those things. I don't like it or dislike it. It's just true of the team. Did you ever watch the 72 team on NFL?
I haven't had a chance to see that yet, and I mean to dedicate some time to it because obviously
dedicating an hour is tough for you, huh?
No, but I mean, I watch a lot of live football over the weekend here, so I mean, I was not inclined to turn on like
5 days
a
during the
documentary
week,
on
though.
football, and there was a lot of other stuff happening that I'm interested in, including the Australian Open, which has been kind of I mean, a very, as my friend Al Bernstein would say, a very intriguing tournament so far, with a little movement, a little ascent of the American game, finally showing some signs of life there, with not just some really young kids, but some guys that have been around for a little while starting to mature a little bit. All right, let's
So
take
what did you
these
think of
games here.
What did you think of the games? What did you think of the games this
Well,
weekend?
I kind of gave my thoughts on them, so I want to get yours. Cincinnati and Buffalo, total
Surprised.
domination by the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, Buffalo didn't even show up.
Surprised how not just how they dominated, how they handled everything better.
Yeah.
I was absolutely shocked, and it was like Buffalo. You kind of got a sense that the week before, Buffalo was sort of gasping for air against the Dolphins, right? Listen,
Life
I'm
and
not
death
going
to
to
beat the
take it.
Dolphins. I mean, come on.
I take nothing away from what the Dolphins scheme. Their defense was fantastic, but I there was still that you could feel the Bills kind of gasping for breath, and I thought, well, maybe it was just an aberration, but here come the Bengals. They're banged up on the offensive line. The footing is horrible. They're in, is there. I mean, no pun intended, but the perfect storm for Buffalo to come out and win and go to the conference championship. And instead, Cincinnati said, screw that. And they just totally dominated. I mean, they dominated them in every area. Was there any Cincinnati was going to win that game? Any doubt?
I went into that. I went at 14-7.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that okay, they're
they immediately responded though.
Yeah, and then it was wow. It was like a rolling stone down a hill. It was the stone.
How does that happen though? Backup offensive linemen. I mean, we've had any number of back ladies that we picked up off the streets here in the last several years with the Miami Dolphins, trying to fill what was already a makeshift patchwork offensive line, just to fill, holes with somebody, a body. And, Cincinnati's offensive line with their starters wasn't all that much. So, I mean, we always see visions of Burrow running for his life and getting sacked.
And coached him up, man.
They look like the hogs in there. Are you kidding me? I mean, they were just mowing down the Buffalo Bills defensive front, which was supposed to be good.
They were on their heels. The Bills were on their heels all day. They were on skates.
It was great.
And it was weird to watch. It was weird to watch. Me and my son and daughter were talking, and it was one of those things where we really, either team would have been fine to get in the conference. I think we all had a lean toward Buffalo. We just thought it was a great story. But the way Cincinnati play, man, it's that conference game is going to be fantastic. It's going to be Mahomes against Burrow.
Well, and we don't know what we're going to get from Mahomes because he can say all he wants that the thing's not going to bother him, but usually it's worse like the next day.
Yeah, but they said the next day that he was much better than they could ever imagine. So
because you want to see him at full strength.
So, well, I don't know if he's going to be at full strength, but he's going to be at full, as much strength as he possibly can be. I will tell you this: you've got.
He looked like Verbal Kent running up to the line of scrimmage in the late going there when he was trying. I mean, just
as soon as I saw him start to do that, I thought of Willis Reed. I mean, it was just like Willis Reed all over again, man.
But Willis was only out there in a showcase. This guy was going to have to carry the team. Although, how about I wouldn't give a penny for Chad Henne coming in there?
How about Chad Henne? God bless him, man.
I thought that was his kid a couple of weeks ago. I really did.
37 years old, and he's still playing. And again, whoever says coaches don't matter is bullshit, because coaches matter. And Henne's life is resurrected with a guy like Andy Reid. I mean, he's been there 3 years, and he comes in, he does what he has to do. Listen, he doesn't hurt him, right? Coaches tell you, I'm going to put a guy in, as long as you don't hurt me, I'm good.
Drove him 98 yards and made some key plays. It wasn't like it was all
made
gimmies,
some key plays. Exactly. Exactly. So I thought that was great. So it certainly sets up, and I thought the point spread was kind of interesting, didn't you?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I got beat by that in my personal bookmaking ventures. But
No,
yeah,
I'm
I
talking
mean,
about the one coming up, Cincinnati,
oh,
and
not surprising because I think you have to take into account since he's beaten them 3 times in a row. They've beaten him in this spot as recently as last year.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have been vulnerable, all year long, and especially vulnerable to the point
The
spread.
spread.
And since he's been, badly underestimated, I think the last several weeks.
Yeah, they have. And I'll tell you, Joe Cool is living up to that moniker, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been
Jesus.
great. Yeah.
He has been just, just absolutely incredible. And, I think he was set up a little bit when he was playing in college because if you recall, LSU did not have a great offensive line. And he got his butt kicked at LSU a lot. So I think going to Cincinnati wasn't that much of a downgrade or an upgrade. It was pretty much the same. But then I never would have thought. I thought Philadelphia would win.
Yeah.
I just didn't think they'd speedboat him.
Annihilation. Total annihilation. That was a surprise, I think, to a lot of people. You weren't alone in that, Tony. Because many people were recommending taking a 7 on a hook with the Giants. And it's weird to gauge the bounce factor in these postseason games because the Giants couldn't have looked any more in sync the week before against Minnesota, and they couldn't have looked any more disoriented in this game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I keep saying this because I haven't watched a ton of Eagles football this year, but they have to be damn good to be doing what they're doing. And Jalen Hurts looked fine in this game, even though, he wasn't afraid to challenge his injured shoulder being re-injured because he was diving forward, trying to make yardage on attempts to get first downs and things of that nature.
All I know is if I were a working journalist, daily working journalist like I was, you could not ask for better storylines than these two games coming up on Sunday. You could not ask for 4 leading men than the 4 leading men in this game. When Jalen Hurts, great story. Joe Burrow, great story, and lives up to that whole. You got to be a good-looking guy to be a quarterback. Mahomes, he is everybody's backyard quarterback. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, go on and on. I mean, every storyline is spectacular, and I just think it's and the Jalen Hurts story I think is if there is anybody who faces tough roads and gets slapped in the face and has to keep overcoming hurdles. If Jalen Hurts doesn't fit that role, and people don't cheer for that young man, think about what he's been through and how he was replaced in Alabama, comes in and saves the day, and then goes to Oklahoma. And I mean, just great stories, absolutely great storylines. And then the other ones, even the bit players, even the guys that aren't, the quarterbacks, are just really four teams with incredible storylines that everybody's going to seize for sure.
Yeah. Philadelphia, very impressive, though, in that game against the Giants. I would have to give them the edge over San Francisco with the 49ers going on the road in this game. And now Brock Purdy having to stand up there again and distinguish himself. And we were saying this. I mean, if the Dallas defensive backs could catch, Purdy would have had like 2 or 3 picks in that game. Just some real ugly ones, too. So, he got away with some stuff. He hasn't made the big bozo play, which backup quarterbacks of this nature are inclined to do after a while. So that's to his credit, but he has come close a few times to unraveling. So I don't know. Philadelphia, if they don't win this ball game, I would be surprised. I really would.
I think it's going to be a great Sunday. I found it curious that it was that they put the NFC game first. It's usually the NFC game is second. But I found that curious that
Mahomes and Burrow.
Game.
I mean,
exactly
quarterback matchup.
That's about as good as it gets right there. So
so going to be a lot of fun. I mean, very entertaining, wildly entertaining NFL season, and still more to go. And then you have the Super Bowl. And by the way, Tony, if you weren't familiar with this, Rihanna is going to be doing a halftime show.
Oh, listen. Listen,
They've never
oh my,
advertised it so much.
I'm gonna have to give you
I'm
guys,
surprised I didn't throw a couple of Masters promos in there also.
you know, I'm not sure if I'm more excited about Rihanna doing halftime or if I'm more excited about the flag football game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what is this dodgeball as part of now the
Oh my
NFL
gosh.
Pro Bowl game?
I get a call. Yeah.
Dodgeball.
I get a call on Friday from. It was like Friday evening. But by the way, it is. I'm gonna have to give you guys a peek outside. I have to fix this up to show you outside.
Oh wow, yeah, it looks.
It is really snowing. It
wow.
is really, really snowing. But anyway, I get a call from ESPN on Friday afternoon, like 5:30, and they called. They wanted to get my assessment of the NFL Films hour special on the 72 team.
Right.
So I gave them my assessment, what I thought, and
What'd you think?
I thought it was brilliantly done.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
I
good.
thought listen. They found Coach Shula's diary, basically.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were telling us.
And but so they asked me a few questions because their special on the 72 team drops. It's going to be on right before the flag football game.
Mm.
When is that? Is that coming up this week?
February.
No, the week between the Super Bowl.
February 5th, I believe it is. Yeah, February 5th. It's going to be on the hour before.
Well, that'll be the most entertaining thing that they air that day.
Yeah,
I would think.
So they told me to expect it then. So, and they were able to get players that the NFL Films people did not get, and get me and Jane. NFL had me, but they didn't have Jane. So ESPN is going to have both.
Jane Chastain, we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she was like a pioneer Miami sportscaster. Right?
Yeah, she was a pioneer sportscaster. Period. You know,
right. She ended up being on the networks, but she got her start down here. With you and Bernie Rosen?
Yep. I was her photographer for a while, and then she was the one who actually kind of encouraged me and pushed me into the seat because I wasn't sure I was ready to do it.
All right, Tony, way to go, kid. The rest is history, as they say, man. You were like Lou Gehrig
at 18. Yeah, exactly. So, well, it was great. I talked to Kerry Sanders the other day when he retired, and he goes, "I didn't hit 41. What there's this? Did you hit the Segreto something? Is sort of the
what's the bar at? 41 years you were doing this stuff?
Yeah,
wow,
a little over 40, like between 40 and 41 years. But we always kind of lean toward the higher.
And Bishop was a kid when you started. Unbelievable. She looked old for the last 20 years of her career, did she not, Ann Bishop?
The joke was that I was like Moses left in the wicker basket.
Well, you still look young, Tony. You really do. You look good, kid. That's for sure.
Not bad for a guy in the 70s.
All right, tell us about Catholic Health Services here. As we're going to take you up till about 9 o'clock with Old School with Tony Segreto, and a lot of stuff to get into here on the show. But medical. I finally got some decent medical care from my primary care guy. The next day, they actually paid some attention to my needs, got me whatever medication there was for this this COVID-19, and it's out of my system now. So that's good. But it's not uncommon to get no response, and that's why we originally found love with the people at Catholic Health Services when I first experienced their amazing communicative skills, as opposed to the runaround that you get in almost every other facet of the medical so-called healthcare industry today.
To me, that makes the difference. It really, to me, honest to goodness, that makes the difference. You know, we've talked about, if you go into a Catholic Health Services rehab facility, it's going to look like any other rehab facility you go into in terms of maybe the size is different and the configuration is different. But I'm talking about they're going to have the same equipment, as a normal facility. They're going to have therapists. They're going to have all these people. They're going to, and all these people are at the top of their game. The difference is the human element that I like to, the human equation, I like to say, because they make you feel as if you're the only one they need to take care of. Remember the great Bobby Bowden? One of the things they said about Bobby was that when you were in his company, he made you feel like you were the only one on the earth that he cared about. And that's an art. And Catholic Health Services is that way with its patients. They make you feel that you are Number one, you're the special one because of how they care for you. They make you feel like you're part of their family, whether it's the therapist, the doctor, the nurse, the administrators, those who clean the area. They all embrace you. They know your name. They know what's going on with you. And then you add to that how all of the therapists and the doctors and the administrators stay in touch with the family, because there's no question that when there is an issue with some member of your family, it impacts the entire family, because you need to go back and forth to the hospital. You need to know what's going on with the rehab facility. What Catholic Health Services does is they take you along the way, every step of the way. It's going like down their yellow brick road. They tell you what you can expect, how they're going to treat this. And then when it's time for you to go back home, they're going to tell you what you need to do and what you need to look out for. The communication is extraordinary. There's nothing like it. And they'll do it twice, 3 times a day if need be. They're going to make sure that you stay in the loop. And when you put your head on that pillow at night, you can rest easily knowing that your loved one is being taken care of. Catholic Health Services is a special place, man. Special place with special people.
And it's good to be able to get back up on your feet, I mean, after, sitting out 6 weeks with this broken toe, all of a sudden, I got out there yesterday and did my thing, and it was like, wow, how much did I miss this?
Yeah, and, exactly.
It's worth a little bit of pain there, go through the rehab or whatever. But nonetheless, I mean, Catholic Health Service is fantastic at what they do. There's no question, the best in the business. And you want to get back to being well again. That's what it's all about. And you want to feel good about it during the process. All right, we're coming back with more with Tony Segreto. It's old school with Tony Segreto on a Monday. Snowing there, huh, Tone? I mean,
when we come back from the break,
it's like a whiteout in the background there.
I'll show you. I'm going to show you what it looks like outside. Okay.
All right.
So let me see if I can get this arranged here. I'm going to get my.
You got the snow tires on? What do you got? You got.
I'm going to get my mic ready, and I got.
Oh, you're going to go outside with the camera? Awesome.
Well, I'm just gonna sort of peek. I'm gonna show you when we come back. When we come back. Okay.
Snowing for people here in South Florida in just a moment. Now that.
The time.
Snowing there. It's 8:23.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
All right, one thing that I love about you, Tony, and we discovered this over time, although it took a while to kind of realize what the heck was really going on there. As distinguished as you are, and as many people as you deal with your various committees that you're on, Orange Ball, this, that, boards of trustees of universities, deep inside, I mean, lurks. I don't know that it's a sick degenerate, but there is a degenerate nature, and nobody loves college football. I believe next to women's softball, college football is really the most passionate sport that you're all about, Tony Segreto. Is that not correct?
I love it. Let's say we talk about being the intelligent degenerate, the one who doesn't say it out loud, but
those are mutually exclusive, my friend.
There
is no intelligent degenerate. If you're a degenerate, you've already shown a lack of intelligence or intellect.
Defo and Lubie love kicking it old school with the legendary Tony Segreto.
Very appropriate, though, that, there he is by the window.
All right, hold up. Wait.
Happening. Tony Segreto in Vermont, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, now, don't tell me you're going to open a door?
Oh, don't die on us.
This is an experiment here. It's like following Anthony Bourdain somewhere in Thailand. Look at this.
You choose this? This is my choice.
It's actually sort of slowed down a little bit.
That's your backyard, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the back part, so you get stone wall.
I hear birds in the background now.
All the way down
Wow, look at that.
Kind of gives you.
All right, doesn't look that terrible.
It's about 1.5 feet right now. So,
Okay.
we'll bring this back in, and this is kind of an experiment. You're right. I'm all tied up in wires, but we'll get back to where we were in a second.
Okay,
But
everything's just going to unravel backwards now. But that was a great view because people here in South Florida, it was like the 50-year anniversary of the snowfall or something.
yeah,
Remember, what did we get? Like a little brush of snow in, what was it, 72?
yeah, it was
Something like that?
it's kind of
73?
yeah, it was. I think it was 73. It was
Yeah,
kind
it
of
had to
funny.
be 73.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because people go, yeah, but it didn't stick. Well, the ground's not frozen.
Yeah,
That's
it was
part of
80
the
degrees at
problem.
noon. Yeah, all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
exactly. It's
Unbelievable.
sort of we call it Disney cold. It's pretend. It's not.
Now,
real.
can you get lost there? I mean, like you drive your car into a snowdrift and that's it? No more Segreto? Are you concerned at all about your overall well-being?
Well, yeah, we're always concerned, but we watch it. We take it. We're not stupid. We make sure the road that here in Vermont.
Do you have like
they
a
are
Jeep? I mean, what are you driving?
I have an all-wheel drive
Okay.
SUV, but
All right.
and it's got the snow feature. But here's the thing: here in Vermont, they're so prepared. This is they embrace this weather.
This is nothing, huh?
They embrace this weather. The ski slopes need it. The economy needs it. They live off snow and fall, and
Okay.
so they're ready. They have snow plows everywhere, and so they're really good at keeping up with the roads. It's absolutely remarkable how good they are at keeping up with all of that. So it's all good, and it's so picturesque. I mean, it's just it's when the kids were little. When my children were little, I had walked the 30 acres, and I strategically had placed.
You have 30 acres of land there?
30 acres?
Yeah,
Segreto. Wow, very impressive, Tony.
I'm the mini one, man. Most people have. I was talking to a lady yesterday.
30 acres. I mean, you could
Is it just one? Okay, so what do you do with
never
all the
cover all that
acres?
ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it just one home? Like, do you have little? Like,
You're gonna
what do
open a
you do?
casino? What are you doing back there?
What do you do?
I have a casino. Yeah, I have a restaurant. but no. So let me finish. So first of all, a couple things. So when the kids were little, before they could kind of get out, I walked the property and I put up chimes throughout the entire 30 acres, so that God forbid they got lost, they could just follow the chimes home. And a couple of times that happened, where they just literally.
Hey, you get the
but
white
I thought of you yesterday, Jeff, and
Uh-oh.
Mike. I thought of you both because I was invited to a friend's house for a brunch, and they are of Jewish faith, and he had sent in from his favorite Jewish deli in New York.
Oh yeah,
he
wow.
had sent in bagels, lox,
Nice.
whitefish,
Nice.
herring, chicken livers. It was a remarkable lunch.
Wow.
I mean, it was
Good for you.
absolutely fantastic.
Mayo would have loved that. That's for sure. I'm not big on Jewish food, believe it or not. I do
Really?
like some things, but
Good
yeah,
choice.
whitefish, you can have that. Lox, I don't care for at all. What else? Gefilte fish, I would never touch.
Yeah, they had that.
Ever.
They had the herring. They had herring.
Yeah, liver, chopped liver, all of that. You can have all of
the
that.
chopped liver. Yeah, it was great. But I was talking to a woman at this.
So what do you
this
do? You
brunch.
walk there? I mean, how do you get there?
No. You drove.
Okay.
I drove there. So I was talking to this woman. We were sitting by each other at this brunch, and she and her husband have 230 acres. The couple next to them,
230. Wow.
yeah, the couple next to them had 500 acres. The couple next to them had 100 acres. It's like, it's just because there's so much land here, people buy their homes and it's cheap. When we got it 34 years ago, so it's just it
was like $1 an acre back then, man.
It was a lot different.
It was like the Carlo lots in New Jersey, right? But you had to buy a minimum of 8. Eric Estrada was on the sign, advertising the properties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, very close to all the facilities.
But I wanted to give you a peek of the snowfall. It's majestic here.
All right.
It's unspoiled, and it's quite something to see.
Looks nice. I mean, it really does, Tony.
It's beautiful. It's a
and I
big
wish you
trip.
luck.
It looks beautiful. I
Getting
just
out of there. All right, right. The clip coming in. You mentioned how much you love college football, and it was. I have a topical sports talk thing for you, Tony, because curious to get your opinion on this. But when you see a deal like this quarterback from Florida was supposed to get like $15 million or whatever, and name, image, and licensing fees, just to come there, and the deal falls through somehow. And the professor got on a rant about this, which there's an element of truth to it. If there wasn't such greed in the beginning here, when this whole name, image, and likeness thing popped up, and there were lawsuits, and the courts were very reluctant to take the NCAA to task and mess with what was going on. All the NCAA had to do was concede like some nominal amount of money to the players, and they would have maintained control of the sport.
Yeah, I mean,
but instead, I mean, it's a whole. What is this that we're looking at now, college?
They went from we're gonna penalize you if an alumnus takes you to lunch, or if somebody gives you a job at the local movie theater. We're going to penalize you. We're going to suspend you. We're going to levy sanctions against the entire university. They went from that to
Wild West.
All right, open the doors. Let's go. I mean, open the pocketbooks.
They could have leveraged some control for a longer period of time.
I told you when I was for the Orange Bowl game, I was sitting with Stan Wilcox, who is basically second in command of the NCAA. And Stan.
Do they even have an office anymore in the NCAA?
In Indianapolis.
Oh yeah,
and the timing wasn't right, but I was just begging to ask him, like, what the heck? This is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. Now, I mean, we're going from guys not making anything and saying they should make something to now it being totally out of control.
Making more money than some pro quarterbacks. I mean, this Brock Purdy's making $1 million. This kid was going to go to Florida, make 15. Unbelievable.
It's just incredible. How is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, but where does it lead to? Obviously somebody has the money to do this.
And then there's the young girl. I don't know her name. The Today Show.
The gymnast.
From LSU, who's like killing it. And she, to her defense, she's didn't make the money from gymnastics. She made it from her social media. She's just, again, the total package. A beautiful young woman, very smart, very good.
Two twins that play basketball at
exactly.
UM. They're now on UM.
Yeah.
They were like at Fresno State or something, making $1 million a year in name, image, and license or likeness fees. But, it's just weird. Jim Larinaga was talking about this with regard to basketball, although I think he has used the system to his advantage. I don't know, what kind of capital is involved in some of these transfer portal guys coming to the team, but he was telling us a couple of years ago that it's going to be helter-skelter. And, you're going to need to approach this as if it was a whole new landscape, and that's what it appears to be. But do you think overall that's going to diminish the number of teams that are viable to win championships every year, or that's actually going to be like good for the game somehow?
I don't think it's good for the game. No. I think these young men should make and young women should make money, but I don't think it's basically now it's going to be the New York Yankees all over again. Can we? What
and there is no spending limit. I mean,
no, there's no ceiling.
No,
none whatsoever. So now you're going to pick.
That's great.
You're going to pick. You're going to pick your university based on location and their marketing skills, right?
Yeah.
So what does that do to a place like Utah? And no disrespect to Utah, but it's not a marketing.
But it's out there in the wilderness there. Unless you're one of the Osmonds, you're a loser.
All of a sudden, does Rutgers become good? Because they're right near New York. I mean, how does that work?
They get some of that construction money.
Yeah, exactly.
So
how does that work? So I don't, and then do the universities with the dough, like does the wealthy ones, the really wealthy ones, the Harvards and the Yales and all the Ivy Leagues, what do they do? Dartmouth, they can afford.
So far, they haven't shown that same kind of
No,
inclination.
none
They just,
whatsoever. None.
fawn all
None
over themselves
whatsoever.
to get players to pay,
None whatsoever.
get paid like $15-20 million to come to the school. But yeah. I mean, it definitely. I think.
What do you think? I think it's awful.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I thought obviously it was awful what was going on before. The whole cloak of amateurism was a complete joke, and the way that the sport was administrated by the NCAA was very much, in my opinion, not on the level. You could probably nail every school if you wanted to. Certain schools never seemed to be under scrutiny. Others were under scrutiny at all times and suffered a lot of consequences. And everybody was, the big joke was, right. I mean, how is Bo Jackson, on a college team? You don't think you got a couple of bucks, to go, to Auburn there? So, I mean, this is going on everywhere. This has been going on forever. I mean, going way back.
Look at slush funds. The slush funds back in the day when the Elliott brothers got nailed. So
I remember, I've mentioned this a few times. There was a kid from Long Island. He was a hotshot basketball player named Dennis Duval. Went on to a rather non-distinguished pro career, but was a great college basketball player and high school player. And, the guy, he came from like, kind of a poor neighborhood on Long Island. And he literally was driving like a red Ferrari at Syracuse in 1973, I think he got there. So you're asking yourself, how is this possible, right? Obviously, there was some money being thrown around, and it has been forever. But I don't know that it ever was going to reach these proportions, where it's just so out of control that you have a salary cap in the NFL. You couldn't pay probably the roster of not even a championship team. What it's costing to put a team together.
Listen, you know what? I think it's really good for the Olympic sports. I hope the Olympic sports athletes can get money. I don't think we're talking millions of dollars, but I think it's great if the rowers and the gymnasts and the softball players and the women's basketball, not women's basketball because they're not an Olympic sport, but sports like that. I hope they can find something for themselves, and get some money into their pockets. They're not going to, they're not going to demand that kind of money, the 15 million, but how in the world you can promise a kid 15 million is beyond me. Is just
Imagine
absolutely.
it. I mean, I don't know. Was that a season or in total, or was he gonna?
We don't know. We don't know what the actual breakdown was. The whole thing was freaking ridiculous. And most people have said it was a stupid deal, and who knows where that number came from, because that's not what people are getting yet. Look, to me, the thing is, it's simple. It's the Wild West. True. Is it going to be the ruination of college football? Probably. And was it long overdue? Yes. And did they make the bed? And is it well deserved? Yes. Should they lie in it? Yes. Because for years, first of all, it was already getting paid, but even then they were underpaid. It was a joke. And our friend Ken is right. Like they got to the point where they're paying us assistants millions of dollars, but the players can't get their own. Johnny Manziel can't sell his jersey. Like, come on. Like, I'm sorry. If you want to be that hardline and that incongruous, then this is what you get. The floodgates are going to open, and you have to lie in it. And
now the horses are galloping, and to bring them back into the stall is going to be next to impossible.
Oh no, there's no turning back on this. But the professor's other point was, peace could have been had and brokered if they had just said, "Hey, we'll give you guys $1,500 a month or whatever," as opposed to whatever nominal amount of money you get now.
Exactly.
I mean, at least it would have staved off. They could have had some kind of agreement in place for years,
and then made it a level playing field.
Yeah.
Because now
it would have made some sense.
Because now you basically married. You talk about a perfect storm. You married the transfer portal to
NIL.
The NIL.
Yes.
That's basically what you've done. And
it's
that
free
marriage
agency.
now is exactly. It's all about free agency.
Professional free agency.
Yeah.
No
really
question. I don't have a problem with a player being able to transfer. I always thought that was absurd.
Oh, yeah, I don't have a problem.
He would have to sit out a year, whereas a coach could leave and take his entire staff with him to another school, and they would prosper. And then, whatever kid, in some situations, the kid went there for a specific coach. In others, he wasn't getting his fair shake, or so he thought. Should be able to go play somewhere else. I always felt that way. So that was good. I mean, but now, you see what's happening.
I do think
a guy like Hartman, he had Wake Forest emblazoned on his heart. He had a big W and an F. And all of a sudden, after like 9 years of school there, he decides, you know what? I think I'll go play for Notre Dame. Hello. I mean,
Yeah, but he graduated Wake Forest, so he had that
did.
one more. He had that one more year.
he was
and
there like
that's how
7
it all
years. Yeah.
started.
It's
years.
And that's
unbelievable.
how that started. I don't find a problem with that, but I do. Here's the thing. I think that being that transfer portal needs to be managed a little bit better.
yeah.
Like a coach can leave anytime, but coaches don't leave in the middle of the season. Right. They'll leave at the end of the season. I don't think a player should go, okay, I'm declaring now and I'm not going to play anymore.
Trade deadline.
So I think that there's got to be a better way of controlling that portal and how it works. And I told you when I was with Dabo Sweeney and Josh Heupel, they were telling me that they had to hire a whole addition to the staff just to be able to concentrate on the transfer portal.
You need a general manager, basically.
And the shame of it is you've got all of these athletes that want to go in the portal. If once they commit to that portal and they're not picked, if they're not going anywhere, they're done. Their career is done. So they need to be able to have advisors that, like the same ones that will tell you you're going to be a second round pick or a third round pick. Yeah. You make you decide what bed you want to live in. That's what needs to happen.
Hey, you got to roll the dice sometimes, and unfortunately, so not everybody succeeds at that. But it has thrown chaos into college football, and probably to a lesser extent college basketball, but also having a significant impact there as well. And like you say, Tony, I mean, it's trickled down to other sports where some of these people, like the gymnast, making $1 million in endorsements, where we never would have heard of her before.
Right.
An obscure college gymnast that wasn't necessarily in the international spotlight. It wasn't like this woman was Olga Corbett or something like that. All right, we're going to come back with more with Tony Segreto. Ed Garcia, any shot? Lubie,
so if you want to hold off on that, he had an appointment, and I reached out to him this morning because I totally forgot that we didn't have Tony until yesterday. So he did get back to me, and he's going to try and get on with us. So let's hold off on Roadhouse for a second, just in case we can get the one and only Ed Garcia to join us.
All right. Well, we'll tell you about some other wonderful places in the meantime here. And that would be, of course, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. The Jimmy looking good on the between games, halftime, and post-game shows and all of that. He actually says something as opposed to some of the others that are on the panel there where you're thinking, what on earth are these guys talking about?
Yeah. I'm actually going to be spending a day with Jimmy. Let's see, in a week and a half. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's the occasion?
We're going down to interview him for the oral history project that we're doing for the 100-year anniversary for the University of Miami.
Oh, very nice, man.
We've done about 75, 80 interviews already. And
will you be at the Big Chill by chance, or going to Jimmy's house?
We're going to Jimmy's house.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been there before, and it's so much fun. It's beautiful. It's a great place. So we've done about 78, 80 interviews, and they all go at least 90 minutes. So
no, he's great. Jimmy can talk all day. For sure.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. And they've all been fun. I mean, I've met some just remarkable people on this path. It's
kind of a nice thing. Though, do you stay at Jimmy's house overnight there while you're doing this filming?
No. We're just going to go down.
It's got the guest house right next door.
No, not last winter, but the winter before, we spent a weekend with Jimmy Kelly up at his hunting lodge in upstate New York.
Oh, nice.
Which was fantastic.
Tony out there with a shotgun? I can't see it. Really? No.
Never know.
He's a mountain man. Did you see where he lives?
I don't know. I don't see Tony shooting at animals. I just don't for some reason.
No, I don't. I will not shoot
he
at
lives
animals.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see Tony pulling the trigger on some poor unsuspecting bird just happened to land down there and eating some seeds, fell off a tree. All right, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill though. So stop by there and have the Italian Fisherman Pizza.
Yes, you should.
You're going to beat us to the punch there. You're going to get there before we are.
I think we're going to go
which is coming up. Lubie's
I'm still waiting to do the show down there. That's what
it's happening. It's happening. Yeah.
Big game. I've talked with them. Like you said, Jimmy's very busy. We're seeing him on the weekend. So when his schedule opens up, because we want to have Jimmy on, that's the whole point. So after
who's doing Who's doing the Super Bowl this year?
I
CBS.
think it's Fox.
Fox, I believe.
Fox.
Yeah, I
It's
heard
Fox.
those
So
guys saying they were going to be.
Jimmy's going to be tied up until what's the Super Bowl date? The 11th.
February
Yeah,
12th.
yeah,
Sometime
Uh,
mid
3 weeks.
February.
Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, so anyway, we'll get down there. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway, Key Largo. All right, coming back with more with Tony, a little old school on a Monday, and hoping Tony can get out of town in one piece there with the snow falling
Yeah, be careful, sir.
gently in Vermont on his 30-acre, absolute mansion. And
Not a mansion; it's a cabin.
it looks good there, Tony. It really does. Back with more with Tony Segreto and Old School in a moment. Now that. Heat up some pancakes, maybe some bacon and eggs. It's 8:46. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
All right, one thing that I love about you, Tony, and we discovered this over time, although it took a while to kind of realize what the heck is really going on there. As distinguished as you are, and as many people as you deal with your various committees that you're on, Orange Ball, this, that, boards of trustees of universities, deep inside, I mean, lurks. I don't know that it's a sick degenerate, but there is a degenerate nature, and nobody loves college football. I believe next to women's softball, college football is really the most passionate sport that you're all about, Tony Segreto. Is that not correct?
I love it. I love it. Let's say we talk about being the intelligent degenerate. The one who doesn't say it out loud, but
those are mutually exclusive,
like,
my
that's
friend.
a thing?
There is no intelligent degenerate. If you're a degenerate, you've already shown a lack of intelligence or intellect.
Defo and Lubie love kicking it old school with the legendary Tony Segreto.
All right. Mayo almost did it, Tony. Mike Mayo. He almost went 0-10 in his playoff predictions against the point spread. He was 0-9 going into the last game, 0-9. And then he had San Francisco, and you know,
I was flirting with it.
Imagine, I mean, you know, the odds on that are so phenomenal. It was the 6-team losing parlay that Mayo gave us, which we could have gone the opposite way of his predictions, paid 48-1. Wow. So you would have had 4,800 going to a 4-team parlay, which I believe pays in the neighborhood of 12-1. And imagine that, you know, we could have comped like 60,000.
Didn't Mr. Cynical go to the Texas Roadhouse?
Yes.
He did, yes, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it was. Of course,
really
on a weekend. So it was
he found a couple of issues, but that's just him.
Again, that's not them. That's who goes on a Saturday night at like 7 and expects it to be like a Tuesday. Like
right. And he
Use
did
the
the
app.
old, do you know who I am? He did want to know. No, he didn't
He
do
didn't do
that.
that. He used the app. He liked the app. He liked the food. He had a good experience.
The fresh baked bread, I mean, they bring the basket to the table, which I like, man. That's a touch. Right? You're not looking around going,
Yeah.
can we get some of that bread here? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
None of that. All right. Ed Garcia managed to join us, even though we had to flip a few things around here, and he joins us now. There he is.
Hey, Ed, thank you for doing this for us, man.
Hey, no problem. I'm
Glad you
hanging
were
out
able
in your chateau here, Tony. I appreciate you letting me hang out here at the beautiful pool.
Yeah, well, I'm hanging out in the snow here. I was gonna. That's why we're doing it today. I was gonna try and pull out today and do the show later in the week, but we're in the middle of a snowstorm here, so I'm pulling out tomorrow. And I figured, well, let's do it today and get it done. Make sure we can do it the right way and not be on the road. So, welcome. And the pool looks great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful. What kind of another great weekend for football? I've got to believe you guys are killing it, and just want to know what the latest update is and what we can expect as we go into conference championships and then the Super Bowl and all the great things that we can do and watch these games at Texas Roadhouse.
Well, a lot of great things are happening. Not only great football, but don't forget Valentine's Day is coming. So
yeah,
buy
right.
that gift.
When's that? Valentine's Day.
When's that? Oh no.
Yep. So a lot of great things are coming up, and so we're expecting, to have a great month. Again, we're kicking it with a lot of TVs. We also do carry out. We also do our famous family platters. So if you wanted to set something up and you're just gonna have a couple friends over and you want to eliminate some items, I mean, you can do it as simple as just mashed potatoes. If you want to just do salad, I just have, who wants to prepare a salad and dressing and all that other stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice and simple. We can get you a big tray and all that great stuff. And so those are a lot of good things. But if you're going to come into the restaurant, we love to have you. We line dance every hour on the half hour. We have some great toe tapping music. We have a whole bunch of TVs. And as Defo was just talking about, that fresh baked bread is absolutely phenomenal. Coming out of the oven every 5 minutes, you can't go wrong. So just make sure you use our mobile app or call ahead so we can get you a spot inside the restaurant. You don't have to wait too long.
Well, all I know is that the other day I burned the bread, the candle you sent me, the
honey
bread,
cinnamon butter.
the cinnamon butter. I burned that candle. That's not fair.
It smells the whole house.
It's not fair because now all of a sudden you're looking, where's the bread? Where's the bread? And it's like, oh, you have got to be kidding me. This is like, I had to blow the candle out because it was making me salivate, but we talk about the sirloin, we talk about the ribs and how the meat falls off the ribs. And we've talked about the sweet potato, but I want to tell you something. If you love, folks, I am not kidding. If you love mashed potatoes, the mashed potatoes at Texas Roadhouse, first of all, they're real potatoes. They're not powdered potatoes. They're made fresh every day. Correct, Ed?
No, 100. We not fresh every day, but we make them fresh almost every 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So forgive me for that mistake. But yeah, so there you go. And when it comes to the table, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, when I do the commercials, when Ed's not here, we say, I know a lot of people are on low carb diets. This is the one day when you go to Texas Roadhouse, you go, screw that.
Here's where
I'm going to get mashed potatoes. I'm going to get bread. And right, Ed,
absolutely.
We asked this a while ago, and I just want to refresh people's mind. How much bread do you go through? Do you have any clue?
Ooh, I'm going to have to do some homework and give you that number, but I'll tell you, I bet you 9. Oh man, now you got me curious. I'm gonna say, look at this math on the fly right here. So at least 5,000 pieces a week per restaurant.
Oh, wow.
So
that's just Tony. Yeah.
That's just us.
Scratch that. I'm sorry. 11,000 per restaurant.
Wow.
At least.
Oh my goodness! And I want people to also think
of
it when they hear us talking about Texas Roadhouse. It's not. They have fish. They have chicken.
I was
That
gonna
is
say,
absolutely
and
and no.
there and enjoyed it. I mean,
Yeah, the fish is fantastic. The salmon, Ed and I have had salmon there together, and the salmon is absolutely
green beans,
spectacular.
corn.
Yeah, the burgers are fan. There's nothing like a great Saturday night burger with some great French fries, or have the mashed potatoes or the sweet potato on the side, a couple cold beers, and you're set. You're set for the night. So
absolutely. That smokehouse burger got 2 different cheeses on there, a little dash of barbecue sauce and some bacon. Can't go wrong. That will cure quite a few things.
yeah, it will. Yeah. It'll cure quite a few things, and you'll be talking to your cardiologist a week later, but you'll be having a smile on your face without question.
Living life.
Exactly. You've got to live it to the fullest, right? And
That's right.
you just got to learn how to control it. But yeah, it's worth it. It's more than worth it. Try it, folks. Texas Roadhouse, special place.
Great spot, man. And even my finicky eating grandchildren love it at 4 and 7 years old. So not only is it great for adults, but great for the entire
Whole
family. Yeah, because they will refuse to go to certain restaurants. Most of them, actually. At Texas Roadhouse, as soon as that comes up, it's like, yeah, let's go, Grandpa. Fantastic.
Fresh chicken. Those chicken tenders, which a lot of the children get the chicken tenders, I mean, are made fresh to order. It's fresh chicken. We batter it per hand, every single individual piece. So makes a big difference. And then, some kids are picky about the dipping sauces, whether they do ketchup or dressings, but all our dressings are made from scratch. So that adds a nice little twist.
Yeah, they love it. And they didn't mind whipping out the $25 coupon that we stole from the radio station. 4-year-old Christian just says, we got this.
Yeah, I have to add, not only are the dressings made from scratch, they have to be taste tested, right, Lubie? They have to be taste tested by the manager and by other people in the kitchen. Yeah, 3 people have got to taste it before it even gets put on the
That's
the
right.
So it's quite a machine.
Hence my belly. I'm not going to get up and prove it to you because
you look
as
good,
we're
kid.
building the appetite, I can quickly take it away. But
no, you look great. Ed Garcia, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Ed. It's great to see you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Spot.
Thanks for making the time. But it really
everybody will rearrange their social calendar to accommodate the great Tony Segreto. I mean, that's the kind of guy you are, Tony.
Yeah, let me tell you. We're very blessed, but I just want to say one more thing. We joke a lot and we laugh and we talk about Texas Roadhouse. Trust me, folks. Try it. Give it a shot.
Great spot. Yeah.
It really is a great spot, and it makes you, when you walk in there, they make you feel comfortable. Yes. It's not a stuffy place.
Well, and you're not getting whacked. I mean, not that other restaurants are overpriced necessarily, but the fact that they can have this level of quality and maintain the price points that they have all around the country, it's sensational.
Yeah.
And then, the other thing, too, it's always good. And we get this a lot when we do the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show. And you meet the owner of restaurants or the people that are running a particular place. And it was like a passion of theirs. And they put everything they have into it. And they're into every last detail. And that's kind of the way this is set up, even though it's a chain of restaurants. They're individually owned and operated. And the people take just tremendous pride and care, as if, they had created the menu and the whole concept themselves. So, that makes a big difference in that type of restaurant where, you're looking for consistency, number one, but, also, the prices are right on the money. I mean, absolutely great. So good spot, Tony. We have to get out there. I mean, if you make it home, are you going to be okay?
Yeah, what's going on?
Driving? I mean, what's going on?
Well, I've been with you the last hour. I'm not going to leave today.
How about a reassessment of where you're at?
I got to be plowed out, and God willing, I'll have clear path. Tomorrow is my open window. I have to do it tomorrow because another snowstorm's coming in on Wednesday. Which is going to.
And how far down does this extend? I mean, are you going to be able to escape this treachery?
As long as I can.
You get to Boston or something.
If I can pull out tomorrow, I'm going to be making my way to Pennsylvania. So
wow, what's the first stop? I mean, the first place you actually stop.
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
All right.
Right by literally
visit some monuments and stuff. Yeah.
By the battlefield. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Right.
How's the grub there? Is there like a local joint you go to, or?
Yeah. Well, actually, I stay in a hotel. I actually stay in a hotel. it's just odd because when you're driving, when you like
Yeah.
do the drive,
That's
you usually
a long drive, though. You do that straight through to Pennsylvania from Vermont?
no. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, from
How many
Vermont to
hours is that? Like
Pennsylvania.
12?
5-6
No,
hours.
it's like 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And but when you're usually driving on the road, you're staying at a Wyndham, or you're staying at a Days Inn, not a Days Inn, but
Super
something.
8.
Yeah,
Don't be afraid to
where
delve into
you
our
get
territory.
you
Yeah.
you get a breakfast, and that isn't, that's
Yeah.
about all you get. The first hotel I stay in is the only one that actually has a restaurant. So if I want to go to the restaurant there, but there's a lot of restaurants around there. It's literally in the heart of Gettysburg, and so from there, and then from there we go to Savannah, and then from Savannah we'll take her home.
Oh, nice. So you
God
make
willing,
a nice
got-
little Americana tour out of the whole
Savannah's
thing.
nice.
Yeah, I
Fantastic.
love driving. I love stopping and
See,
meeting people.
I don't like it anymore.
and-
I used to.
and,
I don't.
I'll stop at a Texas Roadhouse for dinner, or I'll stop, someplace. You got to stop at a Cracker Barrel.
You
or
got to
get
go
the
to some
biscuits.
quaint joint, though, don't you? And sample a local, cuisine.
Fair.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. What would it be? A pretzel.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. It's got to be something. All right. Well, always great, Tony. We love you.
You
And,
too. Thank you
glad you could
for
do this today.
accommodating me.
Yeah.
Thank you for accommodating
great.
me. And
Hopefully we'll see you then. If you're driving, I presume you're going to be down here for some time. So hopefully we see you.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely. We'll
I hope
we'll
so.
have to we'll plan on getting together.
Okay,
Maybe
sounds good,
maybe
Tony.
I'll come to a lunchbox and see and
that'd be nice.
experience for myself how Mayo eats.
That you don't want.
I don't know that you want to see this. How I used to use the disclaimer when clips were particularly graphic. Some guy gets shot, and you don't want to put it up on the news, and you would say, "Warning: this may be some sensitive material," or whatever that was that you said. That's how it is with Mayo eating. It really is. Lubie used to do some really disgusting things when it came to eating, and
Has he gained a little weight?
Mayo? Well, I mean, from when he was a sports writer, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Over the
Yeah,
years.
when he became the food critic, he said he put on like 60 pounds.
No.
Well,
he
I
doesn't
read
say
it all the
no.
time, man. I mean, come on, Tony. This is his job now. Yeah. And he might have let some other things go, like exercise and things like that. So we got to get him on. I mean, we're going to get him on the right path. He's only 56. We don't want him checking out prematurely. No, that would be ugly. So, yeah, we'll get him. I mean, he'll end up running marathons by the end of this year. We're going to motivate him. All right, Tony, we'll see you down here. And thanks so much for being with us, my friend.
Thank
Always
you, guys.
pleasure.
Have a great day.
Tony Segreto. He's concerned about Mayo. I'm not that concerned about Mayo. I think Mayo will survive.
You're not. I am. I want somehow for him to eat and also not get sick. I
The
don't know
zeal
how.
with which he attacks his stuff. And then on top of that, I mean, being a hypochondriac that he is,
Yes.
see, that's where it gets, like a little dicey, don't you think? It's one thing
Yes.
you shovel a lot of food in your face, a mixed variety, a mixed bag, and sometimes he'll do like 2-3 kind of rich meals in one day. No,
Yes.
that's
Awesome.
not easy to do. I mean, even at 56, I guess your metabolism it's starting to dissipate a little bit. No, I mean it's just not the same. You used to be able to eat like a whole pizza and then come back. That was like a snack. Remember when you were in your 20s? Like all 8 slices, and then you were thinking, okay, when's the chicken parm coming? But not anymore. I mean, I look at a tomato and I put on 3 pounds. It's crazy. Like, are you going to eat that? It's like Papillon. You're going to eat that? Mike, though, yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with him. I could go either way. It really could. He could get dedicated, or but the zeal with which he consumes his food.
Well, it's just the face he makes.
And the
It's- that's-
technique, yeah.
It's that he really, like, a lot of people eat to live. Like, I've always lived like that since high school. Let's just be healthy. Some people live to eat, and Mike Mayo 100% falls in that category.
Oh yeah. Definitely was influenced, by Jim Sarney, of course, with his national days all the time. It's like National Gefilte Fish Day. The guy's got 6 jars of gefilte fish. Who the fuck would ever eat that anyway? Hey, babe. All right. Well, we'll have Mike Mayo's lunchbox coming up. We'll see how he's doing. I don't, he seems to be in good health.
I mean,
He almost had the 0-10, man. I mean, it was
I love
if Dak
that.
Prescott didn't spit the bit, he might have had it. You certainly were within the realm of possibilities of being, within 4, and he was getting 3 and a hook. So, or given 3 and a hook with San Francisco.
Yeah.
Wow, that would have been a remarkable achievement, man. Oh,
0 for 10.
but you were in a perfect situation there. I mean, you could have hedged off like 20 grand and still been in good shape. So if you could have found the 20 grand to put up. All right, so we'll see you guys 12 o'clock. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Should be a lot of fun today. And Mike Lubie, it's always a pleasure. Thanks to Tony for joining us. Tomorrow we'll have John Conjemi with his Pigskin Playbook. Wednesday,
Wednesday, I'm working on it. I'm working on a Sarni special talking about Svengali by Sarni.
Yeah.
This is someone you wanted to talk to all year long, and I finally got him. The first-year head coach of the FIU Panther men's football team. I think
I like that guy. Yeah.
So Mike McIntyre is going to join us Wednesday, and I'm working because Sarni won't leave me alone. They are ranked now. They're having
FAU basketball.
Men's basketball coach Dusty May or Dustin May.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. I mean, get a couple of local guys on
Wednesday as well.
This McIntyre guy is so enthusiastic. I've never seen a guy more enthusiastic. I mean, look, all coaches come in and they give you a little bit of pie in the sky, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're going to weed out all the malcontents. We're going to be one unit here, and we're all going to be on the same page. We're going to see who really wants to play and really wants to wear the FIU jersey. And you're like, okay, great, man. I mean, you were 2-10 last year. What the fuck are you going to do? Got no quarterback. Nobody comes to the games. Budget is out the window there. The president doesn't even know football is played at the school. You got no shot here, kid. But I've never seen a guy that was so overwhelmingly enthusiastic. I started to think, yeah, this guy could do it. And I don't know. He was mostly down last year, right? I remember FIU being heavy underdogs. Yeah,
they were 4-8
in a lot of games. I
think his first year, so who knows?
All right, I'll enjoy that. That'll be great because this guy will inspire you. He really will. Is it Mike McIntyre?
Mike McIntyre, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, Mike McIntyre. And where did he coach before? He was a coach for a long time someplace else and had a decent level of success.
Colorado State. I think he was actually.
He was like a long time at someplace, I believe. But we'll figure it out before we have him on the show.
Before we have him on air.
In other words, we're having a guy on we know nothing about, but we just like his enthusiasm.
You liked him, so that's why
I really like. I'm glad we're having him on. I wanted to talk to this guy since he took the job. That was like 2 years ago already. Right? Wasn't this his second year?
Oh, San Jose. He was at San Jose State, did really good things there. Then he went to Colorado, Mr.
Right.
Dion,
which no one can win at. Yeah.
That was a disaster. Then he went back to being a DC, and then he's now at FIU as a head coach.
Okay. I can't wait to talk to this guy. It's going to be fun. All right. We'll see you guys 12 o'clock with Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. As we leave, you know that.
The time.
It's 9:08.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my show.